evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're 10 subscribers away from 12,800. So at this point, you're taking the piss if you're not subscribing. Drop a like on the video as well. If you could, that would be fantastic. There's lots to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about last night's game. We've got Newcastle coming up in, 36 hours? Something like that. The maths on that is wrong. But very quickly, there's a bit of injury news that we'll talk about. There's this news about Arsenal competing with City for children, effectively. So we'll talk about that as well. There's loads of you here. Lord Ferguson of Aberdeen, VV Vlad, Icarus, K. Stewart. Welcome back. Layla, Hyper, Talent, Saliba, Philip, Dark Arts, Nid, Emilio, Timmy, Unknown, Lukey, Fizzy, Adam, Hannah, Ryan, Pekka, Leo, Zaki, Carter, Lukey, and many, many more. It is good to see you all. What did I have for dinner? I had a chicken burger, like a Nando's style chicken burger, which was absolutely sensational. Haven't been here for a while. Hello, Chim. Good to see you back. We love to see it. Competing for children. No, they are competing. They are actually competing for children. That is not even a... They are legit. We'll talk about it. It's, it's getting crazy. They're sending scouts to primary schools. Crazy. Watched your channel for a while, but new to the chat. Timmy, welcome to the chat for the first time. We absolutely love to see it. But look, what did we think of last night? Those of you that tuned into the watch along over on Big Up to yourselves. We'll be live on Big Up again on Saturday for the Arsenal-Newcastle game. Link is down in the description to Big Up, where we do all of the watch-alongs. But yeah, what did you think? Lineup for Newcastle? We'll do the Newcastle preview tomorrow. So we'll do the lineup for Newcastle tomorrow as well, because Arteta's press conference is tomorrow morning. To be honest, we won't find out anything new because he doesn't tell us anything new. But we'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, sounds like Gabriel's going to be fit, which is a good thing for that one. Ethan Nwaneri, yeah, crazy. We'll talk about Nwaneri. Look, there's a lot of people after last night that want him to start against... someone to start against Newcastle. I think that's crazy. But I do think it's getting to the point where he has to start starting games in the Premier League. Not necessarily the big games, but I do think it's getting to the point where you have to have the question. Newcastle's going to be a big grind. The Kivior assist to Havertz was lovely. It was. Kivior had a good game, I feel like Kivior's kind of really, within the fan base, his stocks have plummeted within the fan base. I still think Kivior is a good player. I'm just not sure that he's in Arteta's plans, and I think he probably knows that, which was why he wanted to leave in the summer. But last night was a solid game, 2 assists, defended solidly. Hello, I saw a video on TikTok of you saying, I don't know what to do anymore to do with FPL. Is that actually you with the intention of the ad? Because the quality is so bad. It is me. It's also it is, but also I don't know why they're running that ad. So yeah, it is me, and I have worked with that company, but I don't know why they're running that ad, because you're right, the ad looks absolutely terrible. We need to think it's not the same as in the Premier League. Look at what happened to Mikey Moore. Exactly. This is my point. Everyone was buzzing that Mikey Moore was starting for Tottenham. There were Arsenal fans saying, oh, look, this is what Arteta should be doing. He had the lowest rating in the game, couldn't impact the game, and got subbed after an hour. And that is a hammer blow for his confidence. He gets a start in the Premier League. Tottenham lose 1-0 to Crystal Palace. He doesn't perform well, and then he gets dropped for the next game for Timo Werner. That is not the situation that because you don't, people don't even realize it's not even about the physical maturity of these players, right? People in the chat, and they are right. We're like, oh, look at them, that they're built already. They're not little 17-year-old twigs that are going to get snapped in the Premier League. But it's about the mental maturity as well. As a 17-year-old, to deal with, being the big sort of up-and-coming star that everyone wants to see play, and then you come in and it doesn't go to plan, how do you deal with that? So, yeah, again, it's one of those. I trust Mikel Arteta knows what he's doing. I trust that the club know what they're doing. And when you think about it, people seem to think that Arteta, doesn't like Nwaneri or doesn't trust Nwaneri. To me, that just doesn't make sense. I don't really understand the logic behind thinking that Arteta... Why would Arteta not like Nwaneri? Why would Arteta not want Nwaneri to do well? Why would he not want the best for him? Like, there were people saying that because at one point after Nwaneri scored last night, the camera cut to the bench and Arteta wasn't like wildly celebrating, probably because it was a Carabao Cup game against Preston North End. And they were like, oh, see, Arteta doesn't even like Nwaneri. It's like, why would he not like Nwaneri? Why would he have given Nwaneri his debut at 15 if he didn't like him? Why would he have restructured everything to keep Nwaneri? Why would he be giving Nwaneri more minutes than any other 17-year-old has had at the club in the longest of times? Like, the narratives around it, I just think are ridiculous. Now, I do think there is a point that, yeah, he can. I think Nwaneri can step up and play in some Premier League games. But yeah, some of the stuff. Lee Gunner said that because Arteta didn't celebrate, he was like, "Oh shit, this kid's good." Like, what the fuck? Yeah, yeah. Like, what? Like, only certain people could spin a 17-year-old getting minutes in the Carabao Cup, taking those chances by scoring goals. Only certain people could turn that into a massive negative. Like, it's such a positive. But you know, there are so, you know, look, we know people thrive off negativity, and for some people, it's the only way that they can get views and make money. But it's just sad. It's not a matter of trust for me; it's a matter of strategy and tactics. Exactly. And you know, I'm sure they know what they're doing. By the way, Ethan Nwaneri is something like 120 minutes away in terms of senior minutes. He's about 120 minutes away from having played more minutes by the age of 17 than Bukayo Saka and Phil Foden combined. So if Nwaneri effectively plays 2 60-minute games between now and March, when he turns 18, he'll have played more senior minutes as a 17-year-old than Bukayo Saka and Phil Foden did combined. Phil Foden at Man City, Bukayo Saka at Arsenal. Bukayo Saka has come on to be one of our best ever Hale End talents. But Nwaneri would have played more than both of them combined at the age of 17. So he's already ahead of those players. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But people want him playing week in, week out, starting games week in, week out. Madness. Absolute madness. Nwaneri has to be a regular for England at the World Cup 2026, then becomes the main star at Euro 2028. He should get a 6+1 contract immediately. He turns 18 with 100 grand a week. I think that's I like the club contracts at Arsenal. Yeah, he'll probably need a lot to stay. But I mean, even the World Cup 2026, that's still like, you know, he'd be on Jude Bellingham pace if he was doing that, which maybe he could. But one thing I noticed, Nwaneri looked a little tired after 60 minutes. Hard for him to start in the Prem, champ twice a week straight away. He needs mins, but starting in the Prem right now is maybe not the right. That exactly. By the way, people forget these kids are still at school. Like, they literally do not train as much as senior players do because they have to fit school and education around it. People forget that as well. If you were asking Nwaneri to play 90 minutes twice a week, I mean, he'd be nowhere near it. Like you said, he looked tired after 60. So yeah, I think he's on track. I do think that there are Premier League games, you know, when we play against I don't know, Ipswich or whoever, I think you could maybe start him at that point. I think that's the next step. I actually think the next step, in fact, I'll tell you the next step. The next step is that Nwaneri starts the game against Crystal Palace in the next round of the Carabao Cup. Because it's still the Carabao Cup, so it doesn't have the importance of the Premier League. It's against Premier League opposition at home. That's the next step. Giving him game time against a Premier League opponent, but in a less competitive environment. And that's what I think will happen. So yeah, he's absolutely on the right track. And he had a great game last night. So did Miles Lewis-Skelly. You know, when he came on, he looked so composed. So composed. Setford looked pretty relaxed as well. Some people were questioning Setford's ability to go long. The thing is, when do we play Palace? We don't actually know yet. We don't actually know the exact date of the fixture. Yeah, the issue with Setford trying to go long was that unlike what David Raya normally has, you know, Raya normally has Kai Havertz as a target, 6'4" Kai Havertz. Setford had Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling as his targets. So I think that made it very difficult for him to go long. He must play him before Odegaard returns. Just to remind you, Yamal is cooking for both Spain and Barcelona at 17. I couldn't care less what Yamal is doing. I could not care less what Lamine Yamal is doing. Ethan Nwaneri is not on the same path as Lamine Yamal. He's on his own path. Like, without being rude, is any 17-year-old doing it in the Premier League? Because it's a different breed. The Premier League is a different league to La Liga. And I don't see a 17-year-old doing it at this level in the Premier League. Now, I would also say, in terms of him playing before Odegaard returns, not going to happen. Because, and this, what a segue, by the way, into today's injury news. Pat myself on the back for that one. It's understood Martin Odegaard is pushing hard to be available for Saturday's trip to Newcastle. However, it is far more likely he'll make his return to the squad in next week's clash with Inter Milan. That came from Kaya Kainak. Excuse me. Simon Collins said something similar as well. That Odegaard is on track to be in the squad against Inter Milan, and he's pushing to try and be in the squad against Newcastle United. So there's at that point there's nowhere for, like, I would not start Nwaneri away. Like, the idea of starting Nwaneri away at Newcastle against a team full of thugs that would absolutely batter him. No, thank you. Absolutely not. So I wouldn't start him against Newcastle, and after that, Martin Odegaard's going to be back. And then we've got Chelsea away, which again isn't a game that I would play him in either. Sensational news. I think he might get 20 to 30 minutes against Inter. That's what I think. I don't think he'll play against Newcastle. I think he might try, but I don't think he'll play against Newcastle. This is Odegaard I'm talking about, not Nwaneri. Yeah, I think Odegaard will come back for the Inter game. I think he'll get, like you said, 20, 30 minutes at the end. And then he'll probably start against Chelsea the following weekend, I think. But we'll wait and see. Apparently, Arsenal stuck in talks with the Norwegian FA to release Odegaard. Yeah. I would expect Arsenal end up releasing Odegaard to Norway, but on some sort of gentleman's agreement about the minutes that he'll play. Like, Arsenal are not going to want Odegaard to go and do 180 minutes for Norway when he's coming back from a long period off, because your muscles aren't ready for it. You need to be eased back in. So, yeah, it'll be interesting how that goes. Why is Tavares cooking in Serie A? Because he's playing as a wing-back in a Serie A-style back three, back five. And that was always what was going to suit Nuno Tavares. Nuno Tavares was never a fullback in a back four, right? You could tell that. He didn't have the defensive awareness, but he had this incredible athleticism to be a winger, effectively. It was always obvious, in my opinion at least, Nuno Tavares was going to end up either just being an outright winger or a really attacking wing-back. And that's what he is. He's gone into that Lazio side as a wing-back, and he's on fire. Now, the annoying thing is, we waited too long to do this loan deal. If we'd done this loan deal last season and it hadn't been an obligation to buy, we could probably have got a lot more money for Nuno Tavares. You know, I saw the chairman or whoever it was of Lazio said that they wouldn't sell Nuno Tavares if he was their player for like 60 million, which is crazy, and Arsenal would never have got 60 million for him. But yeah, it's frustrating that we didn't do that loan, which for me, it was quite obvious that was the loan to do. Not necessarily to Serie A, but to a team that was going to really use him in an aggressive wing-back role. And maybe we could have got more for him. I mean, we've still broken even on Tavares, which I think is good. You know, there was a point in Tavares' career where he looked horrific and it didn't look like you'd come close to breaking even on him. So I think we've done all right with that. But yeah, you know, you look at him bombing forward. I mean, he's so quick, so powerful with the ball. YouTube wouldn't let me chat. Ugh. Anyway, Nwaneri, what a talent. Yeah, he is indeed a talent. Ross, good to see you. I don't know why YouTube was censoring you. Doesn't want you to win guess the goal scorer. Shout out to Kivior for a solid performance yesterday. Went under the radar. Yeah, I agree. We briefly spoke about Kivior. I thought he played well. Saliba, by the way, like this is where you realise the level of Saliba. He legitimately made Preston players look like children. Like, it was like he was playing a game against children, which massively helped us in a game like that. I do think now we probably go stronger against Palace than we did against Preston, just to make sure we get the job done. Like, now that Man City are out, honestly, I think we should go for this cup. Look, I've said before, I don't care about the Carabao Cup. I think it's a waste of time. I will never, ever, ever care if we get knocked out of the Carabao Cup. But that being said, it is an annoying thing that people bash Arteta with, the whole not winning a trophy in however long thing. And you look at the Carabao Cup now and you go, okay, well, there's 8 teams left. Man City isn't one of them. Chelsea isn't one of them. We've had a very easy run so far. We can get to the semi-final by playing Bolton, Preston, and Crystal Palace at home. Like, I think you look at it and you go, this competition has kind of presented itself to us. And the good thing is, we've really not had to stretch ourselves to get to where we are. And you look at the team last night. Wait, I might as well just get up on screen. 2 segundos, por favor. Let me get this up. But you look at the team last night, right? And we cruised to a victory. I mean, you look at the stats. This was one of the most comfortable games of football you'll ever play, right? But the good thing is, there were 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, definitely 2, potentially 4 players that will start against Newcastle, right? The remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 9 players will be rotated when we play in the Premier League. And yet we cruise to a victory against the Championship team. Now, I know it's only Preston, right? God, enough people were trying to remind me on Twitter last night, oh, it's only Preston, but it's only Preston. I know it's only Preston, but I also know that in the past, when we've rotated a bit to play against an only Preston-type team, it's been horrible to watch, and it's been an absolute slog to get a result. And so this is the thing. We can make 7 or 8 changes and still put out a team that looks strong. And I think that's where our depth has massively improved. The days where we'd rotate and you're looking at, I mean, more recently when you were looking at players like Cedric coming in, right? But I mean, before that, half the time you could barely rotate anyway. And if you did, you were looking at, you'd be bringing in Carl Jenkinson, or whoever else, or youth players that weren't really good enough. And now it's just a lot better. Now you're just giving minutes to some genuine star quality youth players, and then the kind of utility players that just need some minutes. So yeah, it's good. The semi-finals still have 2 legs, so it would add to the congestion. But yeah, we should be going for it. 2 legs. 2 legs is annoying in this competition. I really don't understand why they do 2 legs, but it is what it is. But yeah, so there you go. The other injury news, so obviously, like I said, Odegaard trying to get back for Newcastle, but most likely he's going to be back in the squad to face Inter. Gabriel Magalhaes, it's understood Gabriel was in contention to play in Wednesday night's match at Preston North End. Arsenal ultimately decided to rest him, however. So Gabriel should be fit to play against Newcastle. If he was in contention to play last night, Gabriel should be fit to play against Newcastle. And if Gabriel's fit to play against Newcastle, you're looking at, I'd probably put Timber at left back, White at right back, Saliba and Gabriel. Which is, I mean, the first time in, when was the last time we were able to do that? A while ago, I think. When was it? We've definitely played that lineup at some point this season. Was it against Leicester? No, that was Calafiori. Because White was injured. In fact, have we even played that lineup? Wait, let me go back to, when did we play that lineup? I swear we definitely did in one game. When did PSG was when Timber got injured? When did White came on against Man City? Was it Atalanta maybe? Yeah, Atalanta. Atalanta was the last time that we managed to play that back 4, or start the game with that back 4. So it's been a while. It has been a while, but it will be useful for us to be able to do that. He played Partey at right back again. I think he'll play there again if White isn't fit. Well, this is one thing. There is a little bit of a question mark over Ben White. Now, White didn't play yesterday, and we were told that they were managing his minutes, which, fair enough, if we were managing his minutes. Interestingly, last night after the game, Arteta was talking about the halftime subs that he made, Marino and Timber going off, and he said it was planned. He says he said we have a lot of issues in the back line. We wanted to share minutes because we lost Gabby, We lost Ben as well on top of other players. Now, we lost Ben doesn't sound like he was just rotated out for minute management. But I don't know if he's saying we lost Ben as in we lost him earlier in the season, or if he's saying that we've lost Ben now. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure how that works. To be honest, like someone just said, if Ben White is missing, I actually really don't mind playing Partey at right back again, and then you've got Rice and Marino in the midfield. But we'll see. Do you see Nwaneri starting a Prem game before New Year's? Do I see Nwaneri starting a Prem game before New Year's? That's a good question. He's not going to start that. Nah. Forest at home, probably not, because we'll be integrating Odegaard back in. Not West Ham away, not United at home, not Fulham away, not Ipswich at home, maybe. Friday the 27th of December, maybe Ipswich at home. And then the other one would be at some point in December. I'm really not sure when, because it feels like we're playing every... They're probably going to have to postpone a Premier League game in December for us to play the... I think... Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, Palace at home. Oh, yeah, because so we're going to play Palace at home and then Palace away. There you go. Yeah. Palace at home and then Ipswich at home would be the two that I would suggest, maybe. Why are we talking about injuries? They're not an excuse. Oh, wait, Man City have injuries and now it is an excuse. I know. Was there any official news on Calafiori, or was it just an Italian report that said he's out for a few weeks? There's been a few. There's nothing official. Arteta said he thinks it's going to be a few weeks. We're now being told it's definitely not going to be before the international break. But I don't think anyone was expecting that anyway. So it may be that he returns straight after the international break. It might be slightly after that. But yeah, we've not really had anything completely rock solid. Did you watch the Virgil van Dijk interview? He talked so highly about Saliba, even saying he was nowhere near Saliba at 23. I did see that, yeah. That will annoy Liverpool fans, but Virgil van Dijk himself admitted that when he was the age that Saliba is now, he was nowhere near the level that Saliba is now. Which Liverpool fans will tell you is not true, but Virgil van Dijk himself has said it. So, Van de Ven injury looked bad last night. Yeah, it doesn't look great if it's a hamstring. The worrying thing, in fact, I might even pull this up. Let me pull this up. Van de Ven's injury history with hamstrings is not good. Obviously, he's already done it once. Okay, I'm waiting for this to load. Here we go. So, Van de Ven's hamstring, he did it in 21-22, kept him out for 76 days. 23-24, kept him out for 56 days in November. Did it again in November. Sorry, did it again in March for 18 days, and now he's done it again. So that is since February 2022, that's now his fourth hamstring injury, which unfortunately, when you are a freak like he is in terms of that pace, hamstring injuries are just a common thing, and they don't get better. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Van de Ven, you know. And to be fair, Man City are struggling with injuries. Man City don't actually have any fit wingers at this point. Their system involves a lot of running. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Think about the amount of times you watch Spurs and they rely on Van de Ven doing crazy recovery runs. It's not sustainable. If Saliba had to do it as regularly as Van de Ven does, I bet Saliba would pick up more injuries. I bet he would. And he also plays pretty much all of their games. If I'm Ange, I'm selling Van de Ven next summer when his stocks are high. His injuries will be a headache in a few years' time. Yeah, but I don't know if they rely so heavily on Van de Ven at the moment. I think you win versus Newcastle and you need to capitalize because Newcastle play full strength against us. Yeah, hopefully. Well, they rested Bruno G, didn't they? But other than that, yeah, look, we've got two big games. We've got two massive games before the international break. Well, three including Inter. But honestly, If we lose against Inter, it's not the end of the world. We can still finish top 8 if we win the rest of our games in the Champions League. So we can afford to lose against Inter. But the Newcastle and Chelsea games, they're massive. They're massive. And with the injury problems that City have got, there are chances for them to drop points. And then Liverpool play against City not long after that. So that's going to be a weekend where, as long as we win, we're guaranteed to catch up on at least one of them. But we've got to keep ourselves within touching distance. We have to keep ourselves within the 4 or 5 points that we're behind them at the moment. Worried about Gabriel Martinelli now? Worried about what? I don't think Martinelli's injured. Unless you're just talking about worried about him in general. Anyway, there was this other thing that came out today about Arsenal going toe-to-toe with Man City when it comes to youth programs and bringing through youth players. So Kieran Thomas, the 15-year-old midfielder, was at West Ham and was being hunted down by the likes of Man City, Chelsea and Spurs. But Arsenal managed to get him. He's been likened to Real Madrid and England star Jude Bellingham. Mailsport understands that Arsenal beat Man City to Thompson's signature by offering him a full scholarship to St John's, as well as a £1.1 million fee to West Ham. The Gunners offering to pay £17,500 a year in school fees to St John's, where Ethan Nwaneri went, to lure the country's best stars away from Man City. The new regime mirrors City's one and involves a school pitch with the same irrigation system as the Emirates, a £1 million fee paid to West Ham, and transport on demand. So basically, Arsenal are taking the Man City approach. We're saying to kids, we'll pay for you to go to one of the best private schools in London. The private school itself has a pitch on it, which is the same quality as the pitch at the Emirates. We'll put you through that schooling system. And that's how it goes. And Nwaneri was there. This new kid, Kieran Thompson that we've signed. Sounds lazy comparing everyone to Bellingham. Yeah, it does. It does sound lazy comparing everyone to Bellingham. You're right. But yeah. So this is interesting. Now, off the back of that, so the way it works is that there's this system that you can apply effectively to the Premier League to be able to use, whereby you take on kids. Now, as it stands, you take on kids from year 9. If you're not from England or Britain, year 9 is 14 years old. So you enter year 9 when you're 14 years old, typically. So Arsenal basically take these kids on, they put them through school, they train them after school, and then any 3 days a week, I think they train them all afternoon, and then the kids have tutors that help them catch up with schoolwork that they missed by playing football. Now, this is all getting so kind of competitive, because if you look at it, like almost every youngster you see coming through these days at some point was at Man City. Like all of the top players at some point were at Man City, because Man City have been doing this for time. Arsenal are now doing it. Man City are now panicking because for a lot of kids, they'd rather be in London than Manchester. And so Man City have now gone to the Premier League and asked if they can lower it down to year 7. Down to year 7. So now you're talking like 11-year-olds. So year 9 is 13, 14. Year 7 is 11-year-olds. So they're now going after 11-year-olds. And then want to put them through the entirety of secondary school, which is crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. But do you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And it's clear that Man City's academy is the best in the country. It's a massive part of Man City's financial model. Yeah, okay, you're paying 17.5 grand a year to put the kid through school. If you go and sell him for 20 million off the back of it, you've made a decent profit. And now Arsenal are doing that. So it's kind of crazy. And I do wonder where that ends, though. This kind of race to the bottom in terms of age. You're going to end up with Premier League teams putting kids through fucking nursery. Do you know what I mean? We've got scouts turning up at parents' evening. It's a bit mental, but feels like the threat of Pep leaving is starting to have ripple effects. I think it is, yeah. Sigurdsson in charge of this. How hard is it to stay neutral and composed when Mo is the host? It's all right. It's all right. I don't. Mo's a good host. Mo's a good. I can tell when Mo's trying to wind people up. Anyway, I like Mo's show. I like it. The Rational League. Question: Carabao Cup win or UCL semi-final exit? Wait, what? Win the Carabao Cup or lose the Champions League semi-final? Am I missing part of that? Like, what happens? So if I pick win the Carabao, so I don't understand. Obviously, I'd rather win the Carabao Cup than lose in the Champions League, right? Who's this 15-year-old? He's called Kieran Thompson. Kieran Thompson. We got him from West Ham for 1.1 million. Are there any big upstreams for the Sunday games? Yeah, Chelsea against United, Sportcat. So I'll see you there. We've got Arsenal against Newcastle on Big Up at 12:30 on Saturday, and then we've got United against Chelsea on the Sunday as well. So I'll be live for both of those over on Big Up. Link down in the description to Big Up if you want to get over there. Carabao's a shit cup. I agree. But we're in a position now where we can go and win it, so I think we should. It's unreal that there was no hate or heavy criticism towards Pep 20 minutes ago, leaving Haaland and leaving... Sorry, hang on, I read that wrong. It's unreal that there was no hate or heavy criticism towards Pep 20 minutes to go and leaving Haaland on the bench and opting to give a youth player his debut. If that was Arteta, there would be riots. I agree. Carabao Cup final is good. The rest is shit. Agreed. Invincible season or UCL? UCL. We've done the Invincibles before. Now, Invincible in every competition, winning the quadruple, I would take that. But we can't do that because we lost to Bournemouth. But we are still on for the quadruple. Man City are not on for the quadruple. We are on for the quadruple. So that's all I'm saying. Rory, do you ever try to go to the local London games that Arsenal play? Palace, West Ham, Brentford, etc., or only home games? I've tried. So this is like the honest truth. It's going to make me sound like such a dick, unbelievably. Going to the local London games is actually more difficult, right? Because the away tickets... it's impossible to get Arsenal away tickets anyway, really. I mean, you could actually get a Preston ticket last night if you wanted, but generally speaking, getting away tickets is impossible. So going to a London game as an away fan, I wouldn't be able to do. And then, like, if I go in the home end, I'm just risking someone recognizing me from TikTok in the home end, like the Chelsea home end, recognizing me and just battering the shit out of me, basically. Obviously, I'm not saying that I am famous, but I do on occasion get recognized at Arsenal. And if I was recognized by a Chelsea fan or a Spurs fan in their home end, it probably wouldn't go down too well. So, yeah, unfortunately not. Fixtures are kind to us in the second half. I could see us going in for a quad if we back Gyökeres. Maybe. The fixtures are nice to us in the second half of the season. But, I mean, they're not nice to us. They're just, making up for the fact that the start to the season has been pretty horrible for us. Do you think there's a chance Partey contract gets extended? He's played the third most minutes this season after Raya and Havertz. Yeah, Thomas Partey has already played more minutes this season than he did last season, which is crazy. And yeah, I do think there is a chance that it gets extended. To be honest, like, I think he has to go the whole season without picking up a significant injury. But I do think there is a chance because we're losing Jorginho in the summer. I think if we lose Jorginho and Partey, there's a big gap to try and fill in the summer window. So it wouldn't surprise me if we only end up losing Jorginho. We extend Partey. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Can imagine Sportcat battering you at Chelsea if you turned up. Honestly. No, but I saw there was that clip last year of a West Ham fan getting knocked out cold by a Chelsea fan. Or the other way around. Can't remember. It was at West Ham, I think. But I don't want to be on the internet getting knocked out by a fan. The universe took all of Partey's injuries and shared them out to the whole squad. Basically, if he stays fit till the end of the season, only then Partey gets a new contract, in my opinion. Yeah, the only thing is it becomes difficult to start negotiating it because as of January, Thomas Partey will be a free agent in the summer. And the Premier League rules are that from January, if he's not got a new contract with Arsenal, he is open and he is allowed to start negotiating deals elsewhere. So what you wouldn't want would be to lose Thomas Partey on a free to another Premier League club. And from January onwards, he would be allowed, if he wanted to start negotiating that way. Apparently, Madrid is open to selling Tchouaméni. I would take Tchouaméni. I would indeed take Auriel Tchouaméni. Wonder what kind of wages he'd want? Well, he'd have to take a big pay cut. Partey would have to take a pay cut, 100%. He's currently one of our most expensive players. I don't think that's tenable. But it depends how much he wants to stay at Arsenal, how much he wants to... Supposedly, the claim has been Thomas Partey is less interested in money than he is in staying in top European football. So Thomas Partey could have gone to Saudi and earned a lot more money, but he didn't want to. He wanted to stay in top European football. So whether or not he'd then take a pay cut is another question, though. We'll have to wait and see. We still need to sign a left-sided defender and a backup keeper next summer, so we will be limited on options signing all our attacking options if we need to replace both Partey and Georgie. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If we're losing Zinchenko and Kivior, which I think we will, then we need a left-sided defender. We're definitely going to need a backup goalkeeper. Then we know we need at least a striker, but ideally a striker and a winger. That's 4 signings already. And then you're talking about replacing 2 different midfielders as well. That's a massive summer to try and have. And we found out this summer that is not easy. So, yeah, I think we probably end up keeping Partey for another couple of years. But we'll wait and see. Anyway, it is now time for Guess the Goal Scorer. I'm going to give you all of the information about an Arsenal goal. You have to give me the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against. First person to get it right in the chat wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards because we are starting now. This goal was scored with the left foot. The goal was scored with the left foot. It was assisted by Mohamed El Neni. It was assisted by Mohamed El Neni. It was scored in the 13th minute. It was scored at Old Trafford. It was scored in a 3-2 loss in December 2021. So a left-footed goal assisted by Mohamed El Neni in the 13th minute at Old Trafford in a 3-2 loss in December 2021. There we go. Some people have got it now. Some people have got it now. Who got it first, though? Who got it first? Who got it first? Now we've got question marks here. Will Payne said Smith Rowe, but he didn't put the opposition. So he unfortunately does not win. Carl has then put Smith Rowe, Old Trafford. Now, I said it was at Old Trafford. The rules are you have to say the player and the name of the team. The first person to do that was Ross Lawman. Now, do we give the win to Carl? I don't know. Doesn't count. He said he panicked. Do you know what? He said he panicked. That, to me, is an acknowledgement of loss. Ross Lawman's the winner. Ross Lawman is the winner. Carl said he panicked. That's an acknowledgement that he didn't win. Timmy came second. Sportcat came third. I think he meant to put ESR, not EST. Matthew came fourth. And Harsh came fifth. Lots of you were putting the names, but you got to put the name and the team. You got to put the name and the team. To be fair to Carl, there's only one team that plays at Old Trafford. That is technically true, but I also gave Old Trafford as a clue. You know, part of this is you've got to have the knowledge of who plays there, which I'm sure Carl is aware that Manchester United play at Old Trafford. But there you go. There you go. First stream in chat. Second, I'll take it. Timmy, congratulations. Congratulations. Any spooky Twitch stream tonight? Yeah, we'll be live on Twitch tonight. We will be live on Twitch. Link down in the description. We got some FIFA rewards to get through, Rivals rewards, and then we'll be jumping on Call of Duty. Apologies, there was no Twitch stream last night. The Carabao Cup stuff just went on way too late. To be honest, I was absolutely fuming. Seriously, they run the Carabao Cup draw at the end of the Tottenham Man City game, right? So the Tottenham Man City game ends at like, I don't know, whatever it was, 10. And then instead of running the Carabao Cup draw, well, yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the evening, right? But we've got things to do here, right? Instead of running the Carabao Cup draw as soon as that game had ended, they start carrying on with the normal stuff. Interviewing Ange, interviewing Pep, giving bloody analysis of the game. I couldn't give a shit about the analysis of the game. I want to watch the Carabao Cup draw, make a video of it, and start streaming COD. Anyway, I couldn't. So it ended up, by the time I finished it was about 11 o'clock, so I didn't bother. Anyway, it is now time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. You have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the RoryTalksFootball community, but not as much respect as Ross Lawman currently has. Day to put a United kit on for the stream, put a clown wig on and a clown nose and dress up as Heath. I would do all of it apart from wearing a United shirt. The rest of it I would do. Anyway, this player started their career at West Ham United. They started their career at West Ham United. They went on loan to Swansea City. They then went to Chelsea. They then went to New York City. They went on loan to Manchester City. And then they retired. So West Ham, Swansea on loan, Chelsea, New York City, Man City on loan, retirement. And the first person to get it right was... We've got a dirty double. Ross Lawman has done the dirty double. It was indeed Frankie Lamps, and Ross Lawman got it first. Second was Matthew. Third was Harsh. Fourth was John P. And fifth was SD. Sportcat, the Chelsea fan, unfortunately, was behind. He's fuming. I was a few seconds behind that. That would have been me. I don't permit this. Sportcat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Ross Lawman's won it. And he's done the dirty double. Unbelievable. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. If you could subscribe, if you're not already, like the video. Join me on Twitch later on. Link is down in the description to that. Otherwise, I'll be back live tomorrow with YouTube and Twitch as normal. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Tomorrow's a Friday. It's basically the weekend, so make sure you enjoy it. And I will catch you all either later tonight or tomorrow. Goodbye.